Good evening and welcome to North Orange County Chamber's annual reception for elected officials. I'm Teresa Harvey, President and CEO of the North Orange County Chamber, and it's my pleasure to have been leading this organization now for over 15 years. Today, more than ever, there is nothing more constant than change. As such, North Orange County Chamber remains a convener of leaders, a champion for businesses, and a catalyst for a healthy community. It's great to have all of you here today as we gather in interesting times to hear from representatives who will lead us into the future. I'd like to acknowledge all of the elected officials here today as we offer them a virtual congratulations. If you would join me in applause. I'd like to also thank our sponsors here this evening who makes this program possible, including SoCal Gas and Southern California Edison. As we go through this evening's program, I'm sure that many of you will have questions for our elected representatives. So please put your questions in the chat so I can call on you to present your questions at the end of the program. As I said, sponsors are really important to the Chamber's operation, and SoCal Gas has been a huge supporter of ours. They continue to work with many businesses throughout the region to provide a clean, reliable source of energy. Emily, SoCal Gas, thank you for your leadership. And here is a brief message from one of our great sponsors. Thank you, SoCal Gas, and thank you, Emily. It's now our pleasure to introduce Emily Grant, Senior Public Affairs Manager for SoCal Gas, who has provided leadership for North Orange County Chamber among other organizations throughout the region. Supporting 11 cities in North and West Orange County, she's responsible for coordinating company partnership with city and community leaders. Emily, thank you for all that you and SoCal Gas do for our community. Welcome.
Thank you, Teresa, and welcome everybody. Happy New Year. It's lovely to see you all, even though we've had an interesting start to this new year. I'm very excited to see some old faces and new for the Chamber. Like Teresa said, we have been longtime supporters of the North Orange County Chamber. I believe SoCal Gas has been, gosh, over 50 years, I think we've been supporting the Chamber. So I'm really thrilled to continue that support and support all of the hard work that North Orange County Chamber does in the community for all of our businesses, both large and small. Thank you, Teresa, for having us. So I have the honor, pleasure, and privilege of introducing all of our friend, who I now get to call Congress member Jung Kim, who is representing California's 39th district in the United States Congress. We all know and love Jung, but a little bit more about her. She's an immigrant, a small business owner, a community leader, and a mother. And she's dedicated her life to giving back to our community. She started her public service as Director of Community Relations and Asian Affairs for former Congressman in the very seat she now occupies, Ed Royce. And I had the opportunity to first meet Jung when she was in this role. I was an intern in that office when I was in college at Cal State Fullerton. So I have worked right alongside her and can speak firsthand to her passion and dedication to our community, and have also seen firsthand the difference that she has made in the cities that we get to live in. So we're so excited now to continue working with Congresswoman Kim in her new role, and are very excited to welcome her to the Chamber this evening.
Thank you so much, It is so good to see you. And Teresa, thank you so much for hosting this elected officials reception tonight. It is truly an honor to be able to serve you as your new representative for our district. I want to thank everyone for putting your faith and trust in me. As you know, it was a hard fought campaign, but I ran on a promise to bring independent leadership, and I plan to live up to that promise. Just 4 days ago on Sunday, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. And I think I did that in the decisions that I made this week. Trust me, this is not how I envisioned my first week in Congress or the first votes that I would be taking. But what happened yesterday in our nation's capital was simply wrong. It was abhorrent and not what America stands for. It shows how much work we still need to unite and heal our country for the future of our democracy and our nation. But despite all these challenges, I want to thank the North Orange County Chamber, your president, CEO, Teresa, your board of directors, your staff. You have all done so much to support our businesses and our community during these very unprecedented times. But your work will be even more critical in the coming years. The COVID-19 has upended everyone's lives, including our very communities in the 39th district. So my first focus will be to fight for COVID-19, to work on bringing more relief to our community and getting the economy back on track, and fighting to protect and provide quality health care. So I look forward to working with you and being an advocate for the small business community so that we can make sure the businesses have the flexibility to adapt to these difficult times, and that you are able to operate in a safe manner and are able to stay afloat. It broke my heart to see so many of our business in our district close down because they just couldn't handle it anymore. So I want to invite you to be a part of my advisory council, and I want to represent your voices. And that begins with listening to your needs. I always believe that good policies come from good input. And I look forward to taking the input that you give me and applying it to my policy work in Washington. So I want to thank you so much for having me. Look forward to our conversation throughout the evening.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. It's always great to have you, and having worked with you in the past, I'm looking forward to many opportunities for the Chamber to collaborate with you in the future. As I mentioned earlier, the Chamber really does rely upon our members and our sponsors. And this evening, as I said, not only is SoCalGas one of those huge sponsors, but also Southern California Edison. We have a video representing their great work they do in the community.
We'll get back to the road trips, the birthday parties, and gnarly barrels, movies with friends, dance parties, and date nights. But right now, we've still got work to do. Because we know how important electricity is to all of us, and we're taking that very seriously. While we're all waiting to get back to who and what we love, we're here for you with programs and services that can help during this difficult period. In the meantime, we'll be out here doing our job so that you can keep doing yours.
Thank you, Southern California Edison. In addition to Emily serving on our board, we also have another great leader, and that's Jessica Fernandez. Jessica Fernandez is Government Relations Manager for Southern California Edison, and an experienced professional focusing on the areas of organizational structure and strategy. She has a background in public sector, private sector, and nonprofits. Her expertise in public policy, advocacy, coalition building, lobbying, and public affairs has built a foundation for her to contribute back to the community and to serve us well. Jessica has a master's degree in public policy, and we're really pleased to welcome her this evening as our sponsor for Southern California Edison. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Teresa. I really appreciate the opportunity to partner with you. It's a pleasure to serve with you on the board of the chamber, and to welcome everyone, our elected officials, new and familiar faces. Despite the challenges that we have had and continue to have, it's great that we can come together and continue to advocate for the communities that we love. The Congresswoman is absolutely right. The impacts that we've seen with COVID-19, the video that we just showed, it has impacts all throughout. And for us, it's very important that we continue to support our customers, residential, commercial, our partners, our communities, in what we can, whether that's through the donations that we've made, over $1 million donations to nonprofits in Orange County here to the Community Action Partnership, as well as partnering up with our small businesses and supporting those folks. So it's important for us to continue to do this work. It's an honor to be here with everyone today and to continue doing that work together. And I look forward to speaking with all of you throughout the evening. Thank you for having me. It is my pleasure to introduce our Senator from the 29th District, Josh Newman. As a lot of you know, Senator Newman has background in military. He's very familiar with the issues that our veterans have experienced, and through that personal experience and through that fire is what had led him to run for office and to put policies in place that uplift these communities. And I'm glad to report that he's serving us again in the 29th District. And with that, Senator Newman, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our reception tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Jessica. So Happy New Year, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. And I would be remiss not to congratulate Teresa. That's the best Zoom shirt I have ever seen. That's just awesome. Your sparkly shirt. So it's nice to see everyone. I'm actually very grateful to have the privilege of once again representing the 29th Senate District. And I'll be brief. Mike, having served before, I know many of you, and I want to say congratulations as well to all of the other newly elected officials that I see here today and others. I look forward to working with everybody here. My committee assignments going into the new year are the following. I'm on the Business Professions and Economic Development Committee, Budget and Fiscal Review, Budget Subcommittee number 5, which includes Corrections, Public Safety, Judiciary, Labor, and Transportation, Elections and Constitutional Amendments, Joint Legislative Committee on Emergency Management, Labor, Public Employment and Retirement, Military and Veterans Affairs, Transportation, and I'm also the chair of the Senate Special Committee on Pandemic Emergency Response. That is the focus of my current work, as Congresswoman Kim so correctly pointed out. The COVID pandemic crisis has devastated this area in so many ways, and the state generally. And so as chair of the committee, I have two main roles. One is I lead a working group of state senators that are coordinating on a daily basis with the governor's office and the assembly. And the other is I'm chair of this committee. We'll be holding oversight hearings on issues of particular importance to the state and to our community. And they really fall basically into the following categories: vaccine distribution, public awareness, compliance and enforcement, school reopening and safe operation, impact on business and plans for relief and recovery, especially small business, and then an after action analysis that ensures that we are fully prepared for the next public health emergency, whatever it might be. So again, I am actually, as much as anything, looking forward to working once again with Assemblywoman Quirk Silva and her team. And I know that somewhere in these little squares is my district director, Martin Medrano, whom many of you, most of you may know from his work with Congressman Cisneros prior to me. And so I'm also going to put my cell here in the chat, and please do feel free to reach out to me and to my staff for anything you need. I look forward to seeing everybody and working closely with you in the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Newman. Great to have you. And now I have the great privilege of introducing our next guest. a personal friend of mine and a friend of all of ours, Assemblywoman Sharon Silva. Assemblywoman Sharon Silva is born and raised in Fullerton, very well known. Before the assembly, she had served on city council for Fullerton as mayor a couple of times, through our education system here in Fullerton as well. And it's just a true pleasure to have her a partner of the chamber, of the business community and our communities alike. So with that, Assemblywoman Sharon Silva, pleasure to have you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me tonight. And it certainly has been a privilege to work with many of you over the years. I actually have to say I'm probably the oldie now instead of the newbie, meaning that I've now been serving in elected office since 2004. We'll be starting or have started my 4th term at the state. And of course, nobody could have predicted the pandemic. And of course, nobody could have predicted or foreseen what we saw yesterday. So as we know, we live in a very polarized time. We have seen things that none of us want to ever see again. So my first statement is a plea that we can look to where we have common ground, look to where we agree, look towards how we rebuild our neighborhoods and our communities in a way that's respectful of all, because there has been way too much rhetoric out there on both sides. And we certainly, as leaders, elected leaders, have a voice in this and need to make sure that what we say and do is about building together. But I am excited to let you know that I have been selected as the new chair of the Arts and Entertainment Committee. And with that is a very expansive committee. It also includes sports, sporting venues, theme parks, technology, museums, everything that comes under that committee. And we certainly want to get people back to work safely. Just in my district, there's over 20,000 theme park employees between Knott's Berry Farm and Disneyland that we want to see safely get back to work. So we're going to be working hard on that. We will be introducing a bill Monday to relook at the tiers that our theme parks are in, because it isn't just those employees. We know it's hospitality, we know it's tourism, we know that it's our small museum, the Fullerton Museum, all of these venues that we need to get people back to work safely. But I will just end with, as we want to see people return, we have to take COVID testing in our Latino community. They have been hit three times higher than other communities. As we know, they're frontline workers, and we need them to get tested, and we also need those vaccinations to happen. So with that, I hope to work with you closely to get those messages out, to get people working and get our business back on track. Thank you.
I now have the pleasure of introducing our Orange County Supervisor for the 4th District, Supervisor Doug Chaffee. Supervisor Chaffee serves on a variety of committees for the county, including the 2020 Census Ad Hoc Committee, California State Association of Counties, Health and Human Services Committee, as well as the Commission to End Homelessness. Prior to his service as our county supervisor, he served as the mayor of Fullerton with, I believe, 6 years of service in entirety on the Fullerton City Council. So he is an old friend to us. We know him very well. He's a longtime Fullerton resident, has been married to his wife Paulette for 42 years. He's a proud father of 2 sons and 1 grandson, and we're super excited to welcome him back this evening. Supervisor Chaffee.
So let me thank you for the introduction, and you've mentioned some of the 25 committees, boards, and commissions that I serve on. It's a pleasure to represent the county and its people in many of these capacities. Let me give you a little bit of hope. We are initiating, as of today, we call Operation Independence at the county. The goal being to get everyone in the county vaccinated that wants it by July 4. And that hopefully gives us a chance to achieve independence, to get back to whatever normalcy may turn out to be, to get our businesses running, our resort areas open, and to get people back in jobs and protect them at the same time. This is a major undertaking where we're going to be establishing what we call super pods, where we, once we get enough vaccine, which we don't have at the moment, we're establishing some locations throughout the county. There are a number of issues such as staffing needed to direct parking, check-in, oversight, security, and those that will do the actual vaccination. These pods, once they are established, are intended to be open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. It's a big job to get these hundreds of thousands, in this case, millions of people vaccinated. But we're determined to do that. We're looking at the present time and trying to nail down some locations to do that. So it's I think there's some hope there. We are done a pretty good job of getting our first tier people vaccinated. We'll get through that soon. The general public is somewhere down, quite a ways down the list. We're going to get to them at least by May. And so I think we've got some hope coming to all of this thing, and we're going to get rid of and beat this virus. So that's the goal, that by July 4, we get everybody in the county that needs to be or wants to be vaccinated. We actually achieve what we call herd immunity. If I may quickly, one of my goals is we have a new small business program. Each of our districts has been given $2 million to establish another small business program. Right now, I see there are other programs being rolled out at different levels. So we're trying not to overlap with them. The goal here is to get it in application stage, and I hope your chamber will help with that. I'm sure you will, by the end of this month, and get all the money out by the end of February. We have another thing that I call Great Hope. We're rolling out what we call our Be Well facility starting next week. It's the first one of several we hope to have in the county. It's a facility that will treat all kinds of mental health as well as substance use disorders. We find that sometimes there are treatments for substance use and mental health, and they're co-occurring disorders. We're going to feature to be able to treat both of those if we can. One of the interesting, unique things they will have when we roll this out and get it fully operational is a sobering station. So instead of sobering up in a jail cell, you may be able to sober up at Be Well and get the help that you need. The goal then is to successfully roll this out, and it'll phase in over the course of the year. We have selected a second Be Well site. The goal there is to achieve the planning necessary to build it. And the other goal is to hopefully find a third site by the end of the year so we can serve the entire county. A goal we have too is to continue helping the Placentia, Fullerton, and Buena Park navigation centers. County has been trying to help that as it can. We're also rolling out, and I think end of this month, a new facility, a 425 bed on Yale Street in Santa Ana. That should help to relieve a little bit of the stress we have up here as we open facilities up elsewhere. Another goal is for the city of Placentia. They have an enhanced infrastructure financing district. It's a partnership between the state, county, and the city. It's the first in the state to do that. And they have great plans for revitalizing parts of the city, which will result in a large number of additional units, additional jobs. But the linchpin to all that is a Metrolink station. They do not have approval for that. I serve on the Metrolink board. In fact, I've just recently been made vice president. And so we're trying to get approval for a Metrolink station, and that will keep going. Another goal, I serve on the Orange County Sanitation Board. We're upping our capacity to treat sewer water to near distilled water quality to 130 million gallons per day. Most of that gets injected into the aquifer that serves our North County. And believe me, your water rate would soar if we didn't do that. One of my pet projects is to initiate social workers embedded in police departments. We find that that's a great team when they go out together. And the chiefs I've talked to, they like it because it tells their forces to get back to what they intend to do. They don't really like going out to get in the middle of a domestic dispute. So having that team to help out with our officers and to provide some of the services in the community that are needed, and to it kind of tone things down and the domestic disputes. And you also have child abuse and elder abuse. That is very helpful for that. I intend to expand that in my district by end of the year. And that brings me to our model juvenile justice, not juvenile, but criminal justice reform that we call integrated services, where we're working with the courts, the district attorney, the probation department, the county health care agency, and also the public defender, and as well as our planning department, where we are working to help keep people out of the system once they're in, to get to the care they need. And then when we release them, get them into a warm handoff so they can continue the care, and we can reduce the recidivism that might happen. I also have a personal goal too of achieving at least 2 more pet adoption things for just my 4th district, working with the Orange County Animal Care. We did 2 of them this last year, and they were greatly successful and much in demand. There's a hunger issue. We're going to continue our nutrition programs, and so I want to be sure that we have enough food to go around. That's a goal, and we do try to participate when we have these drive-thrus as a staff and as an office. I also have been named a vice chair of the CSAC, California State Association of Counties, which has all 58 counties as members of the Health and Services Committee. That committee has been kind of bogged down this last year only to deal with COVID. Now we're going to reactivate it and see if we can't get down to some more important healthcare issues to serve our state. Housing is very important to me. I serve on the Orange County Housing Finance Trust Board. We have about 1,100 units ready to go. If we get a little more funding, help us, Sacramento. We are creatively trying to include some mental health Services Act funding in there, so we can put some units in there that can serve a much needed population, and not for the whole project, but at least a part of it. We have a marvelous opportunity coming up to acquire Banning Ranch, which really makes this go. Is a local donor has put up $50 million to help buy it. So I look to see that coming along before the year is out. I hope we can enter into an agreement before the year is out. I also served on one of my favorite commissions called the First 5 Children's and Families Commission. We try to help out with the younger generation, the younger kids 5 and less. That's the most important formative years. And we are trying to find funding to help, among other things, so that good care, especially sometimes overlooked dental and eye care. And I was very pleased that we were able to provide $10 million for childcare funding with the help of First 5 and also charitable ventures. I have a new goal for the year. I do meet regularly with all 6 of my city managers. I'm going to expand that. I've had a chance to meet with all 8 of my superintendents of the school districts that serve in my district. School is key to so many things. I love chatting with them. I could spend all day chatting with some of them. They are so knowledgeable, not only about their district, but the communities in which they serve. And so with that, I look forward to teamwork with all of our electeds, and we need that. And I can't survive down here without some money from Sacramento and also from Washington. So I'm very happy to spend that for you. So thank you all for coming in, and it's been a pleasure to work with the Chamber for so many years, and look forward to rolling out our small business program soon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Doug. As we get into our next group of presenters, we have invited a number of our city representatives here. And to begin our presentation for that, I believe we have Jessica who will introduce those individuals from Buena Park.
Thank you, Teresa. Yes. And so first from Buena Park, we have Councilmember Art Brown. Quickly on Art Brown, he's a longtime resident of Buena Park. We all know him well as well. He's served in the Navy, the Air Force, Marine Corps, and also continued his public service through the sheriff in the Los Angeles Los Angeles County. He was first elected to Buena Park City Council in 1990, and he has been able to serve as mayor 7 times. He was recently reelected to the City Council this just past November. Congrats again, council member. And again, you know, a friend of the community. Both Councilmember Brown and his wife can be found serving a number of organizations in the community, including during the holidays as Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. So a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for joining us. And with that, Councilmember Brown.
Thank you. Well, I'm starting my 29th year as a city council person, and I've got 34 years of elected behind me with the school board, so I've a little bit of experience. The one thing I want to do this year is to remind council people that this is a nonpartisan office. We represent the people of the city or the county, not a party, which is caused a lot of trouble this last year. And I also want to work closely with the neighboring cities so that we don't bump our heads against each other trying to pass one thing in one city that's going to affect another. We've got to talk to those other cities and let them know what our feelings are and try to work with them to get a ordinance or some kind of housing plan that will benefit both sides of the border and work more closely that way. I also look forward to working with the county more often because they control the purse strings for a lot of things. So other than that, I look forward to another year working well with my council and other city councils that neighbor our city, and wish you all a very happy new year.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Brown. Next, from again the great city of Buena Park, we have Councilwoman Susan Sonne, who was recently elected to the council again this past November. A pleasure to have you with us today, Susan. Just a little bit of background as well. Same thing. You're in Buena Park. You're likely to run into Susan. She's very involved from Silverado days to all of the city's great events that they hold. So. As well as being the commissioner on the and chair of the commission, pardon me, on the Beautification and Environmental Commission, as well as executive director of Buena Park's Collaborative Resource Center. So again, we have Councilwoman Susan Sonne here, and a pleasure to have you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. And it's also wonderful to get to hear from all of the other electeds and what is on their table for this coming year. It's COVID has changed life so much, and we have so much to recover from in this, and knowing that there's such great people to work with to get through it is a great relief. So I consider myself lucky to be part of this team. Our small businesses have certainly suffered a lot in Buena Park, and I'm happy that we have the chamber and Assemblywoman Quirk Silva and Senator Newman and Congresswoman Kim to work with us and to help those small businesses recover, and also to help us get through this from the health perspective of getting everybody vaccinated and getting us safe to be back together. And I know we all miss just being in the same rooms with each other. And I'm the newbie. It's interesting. You had Councilmember Brown, who's been on the council for almost 3 decades now, who I'm looking to provide me with a lot of wisdom and experience. And I'm the newbie. I look to learn from all of you and work with you to make life better for our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I think I'm now going to have Emily introduce our next group of council people from the wonderful city, our home city in Fullerton. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Yes, I have the pleasure of introducing first our mayor in the city of Fullerton, Mayor Bruce Whitaker, who was elected to the Fullerton City Council first in 2010. And before that, he served as a Fullerton Planning Commissioner. He's been a resident of Fullerton for over 30 years. And his priorities include, I think, as we all know, addressing the homelessness issue, improving the quality of Fullerton's streets, and also public safety as well, and the safety of our community. Bruce's favorite thing, or Mayor Whitaker's favorite thing about Fullerton is its small town feel and the farmers markets and that small town feel that Fullerton has. So thank you, Mayor, and welcome.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with chamber members this evening, other electeds, and that small town feel is certainly accentuated during this era of much more limited activities in the city. I want to congratulate all the other electeds here, the newly elected as well as re-elected officials. And as in many cases, we are their constituents. I am their constituent, but they are also our constituents, those who live in Fullerton. And as such, we do have a shared concern and responsibility to keep our cities operating and maintain health in every regard, public health, but also health for the business community. It was stated earlier that small business has suffered, and they have tremendously over this period of time. Many had challenges anyway with brick and mortar businesses, with the difficulty of competing in today's world. But more than ever, there needs to be a sensitivity on behalf of all elected officials to try to help aid small businesses, people who have their life savings committed to these efforts in all categories, and to see if we can't sustain and help them through this very difficult time. I heard it was Mayor Brown who was talking about, Art Brown, who was talking about the fact that city councils are nonpartisan. And in that regard, you know, we all shoulder the same amount of blame when things don't happen, when accomplishments are rare. And yet we can all share in the success if we can work together, work cooperatively to be able to deliver tangible benefits to all of our constituents. Again, I'll stop right there because if I went on about our infrastructure, this could be a very long conversation. But I do want to say I appreciate this effort at pulling together electeds and so that we can all put our shoulders to the wheel. It's going to be an important decade. With this as a start, we need to pull our way out of it. There were the roaring 20s a century ago, and let's hope the economy can come roaring back here as well.
Thank you, Mayor. And, you know, I want to say too, I really appreciate your sentiment about this event this evening. The Chamber has a passion for being a convener and bringing people together. So we're going to continue to do that no matter how it looks. So thank you. We really appreciate that. We're working really hard on it. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing Fullerton Mayor Pro Tem Nick Dunlap, who is a new face for us this evening. Welcome, Mayor Pro Tem. We're super excited to have you. A little bit about Nick. He was just recently elected to the Fullerton City Council just in November 2020. But previous to that, he served as a planning commissioner for the past, from 2016 to 2018. Serving as vice chair in 2017 and chair in 2018. He received his bachelor's degree in English from UCLA and works in his professional life in the field of real estate, investment, and property management. He is a third generation Fullerton resident, born and raised. He and his wife have 2 little girls, and we are super excited to have him here this evening, and congratulations.
Emily, thank you, and thank you for having me here tonight. As a longtime member and supporter of the Chamber, it's great to come together with such I think, an important group in our community. And again, I would echo the sentiments of, I think, Mayor Whitaker, that it's very important to continue to hold these events, especially in these times. And so finding, convenient ways for us to get together is very important. But it's great to see so many friends and familiar faces tonight. And although I represent District 2, which is sort of the middle chunk of Fullerton, kind of bound by Associated on the east and Euclid on the west, really as a council, we are making decisions for the entire city. And so I kind of choose not to look at it, in terms of a district perspective as we look at the city. But I think it's interesting to see how, obviously the pandemic has changed things. Initially in the campaign and wanting to get involved, had similar goals, I think, to, some of the others, right? It's wanting to build more housing, wanting to improve our aging infrastructure, and most importantly, wanting to fix our roads and streets. And, of course, I think now we will play a unique role as local government as we, exit the pandemic and businesses are able to reopen safely. I think our role will be extremely important in helping people, cut red tape, get permits, get licensing, quicker so that we can reopen and allow businesses to, to reopen safely, and also to allow businesses to grow. We've got some very positive, I think, economic activity taking place in Fullerton with the, the impending redevelopment of the Kimberly-Clark facility. And so, I think these are a sign, this is a sign that things are heading in the right direction, and hopefully we'll continue that way. But as you noted, you've got a career of, experience in real estate investment, property management. So I'm used to rolling up my sleeves, and I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. And I'm very much looking forward to doing that, with the city. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you so much for being here. Next, we have another new council member, Fred Jung, who is representing Fullerton Council District 1. Welcome, Councilman. We're super excited to have you. Councilmember Jung is the first Asian American Fullerton City Council member in over 20 years. Prior to joining the council, Councilmember Jung served on the Parks and Recreation Commission and Traffic and Circulation Commission. He was born in South Korea and came to the United States at the age of 5, living in Fullerton since 1987. He went to Sunny Hills High School, or listen to this, quite the impressive family. His sister graduated as valedictorian, his son graduated with a football scholarship, and his daughter leads in varsity cheer. He attended University of Southern California, so that might be some interesting dynamics between him and the Mayor Pro Tem. And we're very, very excited to have him here with us this evening. So congratulations, Councilman, and welcome.
Thank you, Emily, for that kind introduction. It really is. It serves me very well, so I'm very grateful. I want to acknowledge all the elected officials that are joining us in this Zoom meeting. Congresswoman Jung Kim, Senator Josh Newman, Assemblywoman Quirk Silva, Supervisor Doug Chaffee, as well as Fullerton Joint Union High School District Trustee Joanne Fawley. I am their constituent, so I yearn for their success, along with all the residents in District 1. I am grateful to the North Orange County Chamber and the leadership of Ms. Harvey to guide our businesses in our city. For both cities and its citizenry, economic prosperity is the key to quality of life. And it is necessary that Fullerton be more competitive in Orange County and Orange County's economic development, as it has fallen off in recent years. It is one of the jobs of government to help the private sector create good jobs and encourage economic investment. So I'm proud to be a representative on council for our city. It's also one of the jobs of government to increase wealth and living standards and to promote diversity and entrepreneurship. So I'm really grateful to the North Orange County Chamber and all the work it's done through decades of its existence. I look very forward to working with Mayor Bruce Whitaker, Mayor Pro Tem Nick Dunlap, and Councilman Jesus Silva to bring Fullerton back and move Fullerton forward. And I appreciate everybody on the call this evening, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and welcome to Fullerton. Next, we have Fullerton Council Member Jesus Silva. Councilman Silva was first elected to the Fullerton City Council in 2016 and right away jumped right in and served as mayor starting in 2018. As a junior high school teacher in the Fullerton School District, he has a passion for education and serving his community. And clearly it runs in the family with his wife, Sharon Quirk Silva, also serving as our assembly person. So this is a whole family full of people who are doing great things for our community. And we're really excited to have you this evening. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, and sorry for not registering. I apologize for that, but I want to congratulate all the elected officials and to all the ones that were recently elected. Congratulations. One of the things that I just want to share with you guys is a few of us have spoken about the COVID and the pandemic impacts we have on our community. And it's great that the governor is looking at providing some help for the families and the constituents of the state, small business and so forth. And it's great that the Board of Supervisors is doing likewise. And I would just like to remind those that be that it's great when we're supporting these small businesses and trying to recover our economy, but there is another side to that, that some of these employees that work at these businesses may not be able to work right now. When you mentioned that I am a junior high school teacher, and one of our community groups in my junior high school area was managing to try and provide food for 17 families who, for one reason or another, couldn't go out and shop for food or were laid off. And they were doing, in essence, what do we call that? One group would cook and deliver to another group and so forth and so on. And sometimes we forget that some of these individuals who would be out there working and want to work are not able to. So even if we do restore funding to some of these small businesses, some of our residents are not going to be able to go back into work, and they're still going to be in dire needs. It reminds me of an incident in the, I think, late 80s, early 90s, when we had a great freeze up in the Central Valley, and the orchards all froze over. And there was a great cry to help the farmers recover. And during that one winter, the farmers did get a lot of help, but they forgot about the workers. When they lost all their orange trees, the farmers were able to secure loans or grants to come out of trouble. But those workers that were there, because they couldn't harvest the oranges, they didn't work, and it was a miserable year for them. Not that they didn't want to work, there was no oranges to pick. So in this sense, we may have a little bit of that, in that we're going to be opening businesses up, which is great. We're going to be providing funding, but there's still going to be a number of residents who are not going to be able to go back to work. And I think we have to keep an eye on that and be cognizant of it, that how do we help all our residents? And again, I see that firsthand where I work at. Another, not to be a downer, but we just had 3 families of our Nicholas Junior High area, either a parent and some relatives, deceased from the COVID. And so it's out there, and I just want to ask that we keep that in mind, that some of these families and residents are not going to go back and be able to work right away, and we figure out a way to help them as well. And with that, thank you again for allowing me to say a few words. And Teresa, thank you for putting this on. I know you're doing a great job with the chamber. And again, all you elected officials out there, congratulations on, and we're looking forward to a great 2021. Can't wait to kick 2020 out the door, and it's already out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Silva. I really appreciate those comments and keeping that in mind. It's a good reminder. Thanks for that. Next, we're moving on to our city of Placentia. We have Council Member Rhonda Shader as well. Just a quick introduction of the council member. She was first elected in 2016, and she has a professional background in the areas of law, banking, mortgage banking, and risk management. As a member of the City Council of Placentia, fiscal sustainability is of her highest priority. She believes that public safety and infrastructure are also, the #1 job. And she's most proud of establishing policy number 460, where income into the city is prioritized and planned based on the highest priorities for sustainability. Also, during her 2019 term as mayor of the city, she created the Do the Right Thing Award, where 44 everyday heroes in the city were honored and celebrated. With that, it is a pleasure to have the council member, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Jessica. It's good to see you. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Man, I wish we were together. This is really hard. I'm scrolling through the gallery looking at who's on the call tonight, and I'm just thinking, man, I wish I could ask them about their families and about how they've been doing. So I'm just so glad to see you virtually, and praying all your families are well during this time and that you're surviving financially and emotionally. It has been quite the tough year. Thank you to the Chamber for just providing such great programming during this time. You guys have been, Sarah and Teresa and the gang have been so creative, and I really appreciate it. I wanted to point out a couple things about me first, and then Placentia, and that's I try to serve on committees at all levels because it really helps my city stay informed and bring ideas. So I am involved with the Association of Cities in Orange County. I serve on their housing and their legislation committees to stay in touch with them. And then I'm also honored to serve on SCAG's Energy and Environment Committee. And that's a regional Southern California committee. So I stay in touch with what's going on in the region. And then finally, with Cal Cities, the League of Cities, on their Governance and Transparency Committee. She mentioned my bio, and I do believe that sometimes the boring work of government is what really makes a difference in people's lives. And my first 4 years in office, I made some really tough decisions, and we got some really good policies in place. And it has served us well during the pandemic and this really tough financial time. And I'm so pleased to say that Placentia is stable right now. And so we're so grateful for that. And as a result, we've really been able to support our businesses. I'm pleased to be the council member for District 1. You can see it behind me. Our beautiful downtown that provides, our old town, the best Mexican food in the nation. And hopefully you guys have all come down for that. It's takeout right now, but we did do a street closure to support our businesses during this time. And that can still be enjoyed with your takeout. It's a public plaza where the street is shut down. And so we're supporting our business as best we can. We did do grants for them at the city level. I'm hoping to get more money from our Congress and in Sacramento. And if we do, it's going straight to our businesses because my heart is breaking for them. I'm a fellow business owner. My business has been hit to a certain extent, but nothing like these people that have been forced to shut down. And so I'm very compassionate about that. And I want to do whatever I can for them. And so does the rest of my council. We did do just recently an agreement with the county. We're going to have 3 new testing sites in Placentia. Our community centers aren't being used very much, and because we can't have gatherings. And so we are going to turn those into testing sites. If any of you have experienced this, I know I have tried to get tested a couple times when I had a scare, and it's tough to get an appointment and you got to wait, and it seems ridiculous. And so we're happy to provide 3 new places to get tested, and you can have appointments. I'm also pleased to say that Placentia, even during this time, has been receiving the designation of Tree City USA. Some of our neighbors, especially Fullerton, have beautiful tree canopies in their city, and it makes such a difference in the city and to the home values and for the environment. And so we are working really hard to do that in Placentia. and create a better environment, and both for the atmosphere as well as people and home values and stuff like that. So that's been really fun. Our city has never shut down. So all of our development in Old Town and everything has kept going this whole time. If you come down in this area across the train tracks, you'll see a beautiful apartments that are going up, more to come. Some of those are market rate, some of those are affordable for our workforce housing. And we're just trying to have a great blend of housing in Placentia for everyone. I do want to thank our supervisor Chaffee. He mentioned when he was talking earlier about our enhanced infrastructure financing district in the Old Town. And that's specifically for infrastructure, for sewers and roads and stuff like that. And it's just another creative way to take care of our city. And so we appreciate the county's partnership on that. So anyway, that's just kind of a little update for me. Mayor Ward Smith, or not mayor, we switch every year. Councilmember Ward Smith was on earlier. He had to get off because he had another meeting. So he was sad, but he sends his greetings. And both of us are so appreciative of this time with you. As always, many of you know me, and so reach out anytime if there's anything going on Placentia or nearby where I can assist you. I appreciate it, and again, Happy New Year. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you so much, Rhonda, and thank you to everybody who has been participating in here this evening. I do know that we have had the opportunity to share quite a bit of information. A couple of our school board members are having to jump off, but if any of you have questions, please add your questions in the chat box so that we can have them answered. I know that Congresswoman Jung Kim had to jump off the call, but she does have her district director, Lynette Choi, on the call here still. If you have questions for her, if you wanted to touch base, we have our virtual program in the chat room. And with that, I'm going to ask a question, if I can, of anybody that really wants to answer it. And that is, and I'm just going to let you elected officials chime in. How can the chamber better work to coordinate and support your efforts as an elected official?
I'll answer. I think I'm still off mute anyway. I forgot to mute myself. We have so much trouble communicating with all our businesses. And you guys stay in touch. I know I'm obviously a chamber member and been involved with you guys. So when I get your newsletters and stuff, I'm kind of poring over those and I'm gaining information for my businesses. And whenever you can partner with the city and you can go in on a webinar or something like that, not every business in town is a member of the chamber. But that doesn't mean that we don't, especially in these extenuating circumstances, want to provide information to everybody. And it gives the chamber a chance to highlight themselves. So, if you can partner with electeds to disseminate information, that's really valuable because as chamber members, we get a lot of information from you. Some of them don't. So, I think that would be a big win to do that.
We have a few of our school board members, and I know there's been a lot of questions about what is happening with the schools. So if Joanne or Marilyn are available, or Barbara Dunshee from the North Orange County Community College District have a few comments that they would like to say just about how the schools are dealing with this, I would really appreciate your input.
Absolutely. First of all, of course, thank you to the chamber. And I'd forgotten to start with the principal's message, so I was able to come back because that was pre-recorded. 10 months ago, we shut down the campuses thinking it'd be for, a few weeks or so or a month until we returned. And except for about a 5-week period in the fall during hybrid, we've been on virtual learning that whole time. Now, thankfully, in the Fullerton Joint Union High School District, we had already instituted one-to-one Chromebooks with our students and worked out issues with hotspots and connectivity And so our teachers were able to hit the ground running with just a couple days of support of gearing up for distance learning. And so far, you know, we've been able to serve the needs of our students, yet it is very challenging. The transmission rate in the community is, you know, skyrocketed. We have excellent safety protocols in place on the campuses, and yet with the community transmission so high, it makes it difficult to bring people on campus without worrying about potential negative effects. I was glad to hear Supervisor Chaffee talk about the vaccine rollout and how it looks like it'll be accelerated. Teachers and other student support workers, you know, are in the next group, which I realize is a really large group of people, but that will also help facilitate bringing students back on campus. We are a high school district, so our students are a little more adaptable, yet there are tremendous mental health issues as well that accompany with distance learning. So I am glad to take questions. Just wanted to kind of give you information, and I'm not the only school board member on this call, so I'm sure that others would, you know, have their own perspectives. I just want to say that I really do appreciate the support of the community, of our schools in general, and of our students at this really difficult time. It's challenging for them. Of all the age groups, I think teenagers in many ways have it the roughest. They really need to be with their peers, and that's just not really possible in any kind of typical way. So anyway, glad to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And I've now brought Barbara on, who represents North Orange County Community College District. And perhaps she can address some of the ways that the Community College District has been dealing in a virtual world.
Thank you, Teresa, very much. Happy to be here. Happy New Year. We're glad to see 2020 go, and we're very hopeful for 2021. First of all, I put in the chat an invitation for all to come to our 46th annual Americana Awards. This is the biggest fundraiser for student scholarships for Cypress College. It will be virtual, and it will be February 27th. So I put the link in the chat, and I hope many of you can attend. This year, we are going to be celebrating all the past honorees. And I know Art Brown was one, and I think several other people on the call were one. So I hope that you can come. It's usually a very festive event. It won't be at Disneyland this year because of COVID, but we are going to try to make it as festive and as welcoming as possible. So thank you. Just a little comments. North Orange County Community College District serves the colleges of Fullerton and Cypress. And we also have a very large non-credit program at North Orange County Continuing Education Center. We serve over 77,000 students. So we have them from our early childhood program all the way to our elder adult programs. So, you know, it's almost a cradle to grave service that we offer. The district is right now predominantly like over 96% online. We only have a handful of classes that are very difficult to replicate online that are meeting in class, but for the most part, the colleges are closed. But we are, the physical buildings are closed, but we are definitely open for business. We are starting the fall semester January 25th. And so registration is underway. So if you know of anyone that wants to take a credit class at either Fullerton College or Cypress College, we would love to have you be part of our North Orange County family and be one of our illustrious alumni. I think there's several on the call as well. First of all, just a couple highlights of some of our programs. We are working on our Guided Pathways program. This is really an effort to help students find their path, find their educational goal, and get on a path to achieve it as quickly as possible. So we're doing a lot of trying to help counseling students, making sure that they have the information available so that they can get the classes that they need and to graduate in a very timely manner. We also have the associate transfer degrees. These are touted throughout the state as degrees with a guarantee. What it is that if a student takes the scheduled program in a variety of different fields, everything from history to mathematics to ethnic studies, that if they take that program, then they are guaranteed a transfer admission to one of the Cal State programs. Not necessarily their first choice, but guaranteed into one. And what's more important, and as a parent, I'd really like this, is that they're guaranteed that they only need 60 more units, which is roughly 2 more years, in order to graduate. So it's a really great program. It helps to streamline the transfer process from the community colleges into the Cal State universities. The UCs don't necessarily honor it yet, but they are also working with us to try to coordinate and to again streamline the transfer. I know as a parent, one of my children began at Cypress College and then went on to the University of Santa Cruz, and they had trouble making sure that all the credits transferred in a streamlined process. I mean, he was able to graduate from Santa Cruz and certainly had an excellent foundation at Cypress College, but there are a couple hiccups with some of the classes. And so this ATD degrees are really the degrees with a guarantee, and we're hoping to make them transfer well. So I'll kind of stop there. I mean, maybe the last thing to talk about is the Promise program, which is again a guaranteed program for students, first time college students right out of high school. And again, it's they get a lot of services and also been very successful. So I'm happy to entertain any questions for anything that we offer at North Orange. I also know on the call is Dr. Sherry Lee Bugg. She is our Vice Chancellor for Educational Services, and she can also answer questions. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Bev Berryman is on the call without video, but Bev, can you add a few comments about what's going on at the elementary school district?
Just updating everybody on the same kinds of things that Joanne was talking about, is we've had some challenges ourselves in bringing back our students. At the beginning of the pandemic, we also did provide all of our students, for those that didn't already have laptops or Chromebooks, we were able to give them what they needed, as well as hotspots. We came back in the fall, probably a little bit before everyone else, and offered our parents and our students different ways to attend school, whether it be all homeschooling, where you go at your own pace, to distance learning, where you are in a classroom, but staying at home, as well as a hybrid. And then for those that needed to come back to school 5 days, we will also offer 5 days. And so we have those choices for our parents and our families, knowing that everybody is at a different level and needs different things. We're watching everything as everyone else is. We are and have been testing our staff continually through this pandemic, and we'll continue to do that for the next couple weeks. This week and next week, we're still in a distance learning environment. After that, you know, I don't know. Right now, we are planning to come back with the same options that we've had in the past. I say be, understanding that our teachers are doing the best that they can. I don't believe that our staff signed up to teach both through Zoom and a classroom at the same time, but our staff are doing a dynamite job in trying to incorporate everything and serve all of our students. The mental health issues that our kids are dealing with right now are phenomenal. We really need to make sure that we are looking at the social emotional health our kids, as well as the learning loss, and continuing on and giving them what they need. So it's a very trying time for staff and for our students. I had to give a shout out to all of our staff and our superintendent for doing what they can to make sure that our kids are getting what they need in their families, and trying to keep our communications open. If anyone has any questions, our website is very thorough. We have provided lots of learning throughout the summer and through breaks, and we will plan to do that again moving forward to try and combat any learning loss, or just keeping our kids up to date, keeping the kids that are on track, even giving them more information that they need. I was also happy to hear that Senator Newman is on the pandemic response team, and he is talking about school reopenings and vaccinations. And I will offer us out there for you to ask any questions. And if you need to run something past someone, we're welcome, or we'd be happy to give you our opinion on that. And then with Supervisor Chaffee, working with our superintendents, I think is very, very important because unless you ask, you don't know. And to have everyone on the table when we have these decisions is very, very important. So again, like everybody else, I'm here to serve. I serve all of our kids in our district. I've been doing that for a while. And I'm open to any questions anyone has.
Thank you, Beverly, and thank you to all of the presenters who really helped inform us today. Thank you to Southern California Gas, Southern California Edison for your continued sponsorship. Take a glance at the program that is in the chat room if you have not had a chance to look at those who did register in advance. And thank you to those who came on and jumped in after the fact. It really is important to the Chamber to have so many participants on this call, and we look forward to continuing to engage with each and every one of you.
We're so excited to see you all and engage with you all, and we're constantly looking for new innovative ways to continue that engagement. So if you have program ideas for us or other ways that we can continue convening people, bringing our elected officials together, we'd love to hear that feedback. I don't mean this the way it's going to sound, so email Teresa and Sarah, and they will definitely be your conduits for that. But we want to keep the momentum going. We do believe in our hearts that people want to gather. The businesses need support. It was lovely to see you all. Congratulations to the elected officials. So please, please, please reach out, give us your ideas, and we'd love to continue serving you in that way. Thank you.
Absolutely. And just to echo Emily's comments, that's absolutely right. That's one of our top points of conversation when we meet is, how do we get folks together? And we're trying to get creative, but the more the merrier on how we can convene and how we can keep these conversations going. I know it'll be, before we know it, we'll be able to have this together and laugh and enjoy each other's company. But in the meantime, we're here. We want to hear from you. We want to engage with you guys. So like Emily said, reach out to the fabulous team and we'll make it happen. Thanks for everyone for joining us tonight.
Once again, thank you to everybody. Mask up, be safe, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.